Welcome to the live. Today's live. Going to talk a bit about doing more with less. No, right, okay. Oh. Sorry, I'm just reading a message from Simone there. She just rang me. Right, yeah, so we're going to talk about doing more with less, and that involves efficiency, I'm going to call it, like being more efficient. And there's many ways you can become more efficient. I think that can be making better decisions, reducing procrastination, speeding up your decisions, better processes, and better technology. So an obvious one is using better technology, AI, workflow automations, all these kind of things I've been exploring a lot. Can you do more with less? The other way is, I'm going to call it minimalist living. So let's touch on the minimalist living, then I'll get into the meat of the AI, because I know you want to watch the AI, but let's start with minimalist living. A person that I like is, I've always liked, you know, when you see these kind of tech guys, like including like Zuckerberg and Bezos and Steve Jobs, they always wear the absolute like minimal clothes. You know, when they wake up in the morning, they don't worry about what they're going to wear, right? They just literally, I think they all, like even me, I dress the same. I go to the cupboard, I've got a drawer full of white t-shirts, a drawer full of black t-shirts, just put a black t-shirt on, it's done. You know you look good in it, you don't have to worry about it, that's done. So it's like, and I was listening to the founder of Telegram, Pavel, what's it, I forget his second name now, but you know what I mean, brilliant guy. He lives minimalist, he says he doesn't own anything, nothing, not a house, nothing. He's always dressed in that same look, you know, like the t-shirt and jeans, like I do. And all I do, if you want to smarten it up, is put a jacket on. I've done videos on that. Like you want to make your wardrobe simple, you know, all the colours and fanciness and stuff like that. You want to wear really well-fitted clothes just to simplify your life that look good in. Like maybe upgrade to a shirt if you go out for dinner and a nice smart jacket, and that's it. Just keep it super minimal. So that's how you know, just a bit on minimalist living, right? But let's get into the meat of this, which is like AI automation. I've had so many discussions over the last few days about this, and I've also thought about it seriously for the future. Just having a big sort of hour chat with Danny, maybe a 2 hour chat with Danny about automation and what does it mean for the next generation, the kids, and hi, welcome to the live. What does it mean to the next generation? Because you can do so much now. When I started the software business, it's 13 years old, my business now. But I started the software about 9 years ago. When I first started, I got in the office and Danny was starting another software product. So we started at the same time. And we was using all the same resources to try, you know, one way to make it efficient was we would share an office, we would share an internet connection, 2 software projects, 1 office, 1 internet connection, 1 printer, you know, 1 person managing customer support, running 2, but really trying to get some efficiency, which was good. It allowed us to bootstrap, both of us. And we used to use this same designer, right? And his design work was fucking brilliant, right? Absolute brilliant design work, really good. Everything was pixel perfect, looked amazing, really on brand, right? Really good work. The problem is, it took him forever, cost a fortune, and it was a proper, like, it was a bit hot-headed with temper. Like prima donna, you know, like some designers are like this, and I think it goes with the territory, and that's fine. And it was a lot of money, and there was a lot of money spent, and there's a lot of money on software developers and all this. A load of money was wasted to get this thing off the ground, plus the fact that we didn't know what the fuck we were doing and never done it before and all that, right? If you was to fast forward that to today, an example is like, you know, I've got like the journal business, right? If you go on the website and you look at the journals on the website or on Amazon, right? We had to create product images and had to create videos and create a website, all the SEO. That's good. I was able to get this business up and running within 3 months tops, all out, printed, done. Well, no, it took a bit long because I was writing the book. But basically, it was very fast to get selling within 3 months. All the Amazon stuff, website, SEO, videos. Now, when I first did these, I didn't have the products in my hand when I created the website, so I had to get like CGI images of it. Just going to give you some examples now of how AI really works. So I use it a lot for. I look like I don't get AI to create raw content. I get it to do all the kind of donkey work, like, you know, correcting this, placing keywords, all that kind of thing. It's very good to automate things. So we're all using it. An example is we're running out of stock of the journals, right? There's 2 colours. There's this one and the dark one. And I'm going for a reprint. Now I'm going to order a lot more stock. So we're going to get more inventory, like more than twice the amount. So it's going to cost a lot of money. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce new colours, a new colour. And then, so we got these images done with like CGI tools, which is pretty efficient. And then when I got the final product, I gave them to a photographer, and we had a proper photographer take proper photography shots, and it was pretty efficient. It wasn't that expensive, but it was really good, high quality. And I'm just going out for a reprint. I'm adding new colours, and I'm thinking, oh, fucking hell, I've got to create product images of the new colour to go on Amazon, to go on the website. And Danny was telling me, oh, there's tools now you can do in 3D. I thought, yeah, we did them originally, but they don't quite look as good as the photos. They just don't. Now, the other day, I was just round at my auntie's. I was talking to my cousin, and he's a comic artist, and he's using Grok a lot now for images. It's better than most. It's brilliant at images, Grok, and he's creating all his comic art character designs, and he's using Grok to come up with image generated like ideas. And I said, oh, I need some new. I'm coming up with new colours, and he went, oh, just send me the. So I sent him a photo of the journal. Sent him the new colour, like as a swatch off a website, what it'll look like, this new colour. And Grok just fucking replicated all the product images. Pretty much photo real. I just could not believe the quality. And it was within seconds that I thought, bloody hell, fire, the amount of the effort that we'd need to get product photos. I remember my old house where I used to live. Behind it was a photography studio. And they used to have this big yard, right? They used to do all the product shots for, you know, we used to call them club, the catalogues like Great Universal and stuff like this. Don't know if you ever remember the old mail order catalogues. And if you had like a piece of gardening equipment or like a kid's slide or something like this, they used to create like a garden scene, and they'd have proper product photography shots. And or if it was inside, they'd set up a scene like a kitchen scene, and it'd be real photography. And this was a massive business who used to do this, and it was near where I used to live. And I think how like all of that now is automated. And one thing I'm talking about with Danny is at the minute is what we're doing with in terms of business automation, as in linking agents to do certain jobs for us. And this is a big topic, you can go through it, but it is possible now. I know we've heard it. With the e-commerce business, most of it is automated anyway. Obviously, you don't speak to customers. So the cost, I've done videos on business on this, the cost of sale, there's almost like 3 levels, isn't there? I always think there's the enterprise level, which is the highest cost of sale, where you have fewer customers, high ticket, which is you know, like physical face-to-face sales, like proper old-fashioned business development, which is a bit like what I do with my software business. Sometimes on the big deals, that's how it is. So that's what you've got. You've got the mid-market, which is more, you've got to have a lower cost of sale. So if you do have business meetings, they've got to be video calls. You can't afford to be there in person, you know what I mean, mid-tier. And you want to try and do it more with automation, like more emails and stuff like this, less interaction. And then you've got the low tier, the low ticket stuff, which is self-serve, right? Which is basically everything is done online. And you don't actually speak to a person. You might email once every blue moon support, but you don't interact with customers. And all they do is it's just Apple Pay, Google Pay. They put credit details into the website and make a sale. So that's how e-commerce works, because obviously these are just, you know, you can't be involved in making a manual sale with these. They've just got to sell on Amazon or on the website. Now, I think even if you're doing that enterprise high ticket sale, we're talking like a business that has 2 or 3 sales a year, big sales up there. Even if you're involved with enterprise sales, like real big ticket sales like we do in software, you're only getting a few customers a year. There's still opportunities to automate some of that. There's also, there's a lot of opportunity in the mid-market, and then there's an absolute colossal opportunity to AI automate the lower tier. So we're working on that with Danny at the minute, because the idea is, you've heard of like one person now. It's possible for one person to run a whole business on their own without needing anyone else. And it's pretty flipping scary. I was thinking about like what's going to happen. Like I was thinking when I knocked out a Mother's Day ad creative in seconds in Grok the other day. I'm thinking, yeah, it's not perfect. It's not quite on brand, so that's in the prompting. But it's a little video, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, that would have took us ages to get that done. They're not as good as a human-made one, yes, but the cost and speed of which you can knock out bits of ad creatives, and it's only going to get better. And it just leads me to think, what is going to happen in the future with design, marketing, anything computerized, and what does it mean for the next generation? So that's where I'm focused at the minute. I've done, you know, when I said I'd do a video like on the 7 mental models for success, and one of the other ones was like SEO. I'm going to do that because I think there's so much efficiency in search engine optimization. And I've become pretty good at it. My cousin Simone, the expert in this matter, has taught me so much, and it's got to the point where I can single-handedly manage it just with some tools. Now, a couple of things on AI. Any idiot can use ChatGPT, right? You can fucking ask it anything and it will spew out some nonsense. The real challenge here is you still need the domain knowledge. So the idea is, if you're going to become this, it's a bit like become a specialised generalist rather than, I've done videos on what you should do in your job. Should you be a specialist, like I'm going to be a brain surgeon, I'm just going to study brain surgery and always do and know nothing else and just become a complete specialist? Or should you be what Tim Ferriss and the others call a specialised generalist, where you're good at, say, you're very good at maybe 1 or 2, 3 things, and then but you've got a broad understanding of everything within a business. So you become a specialised generalist. This is what I talked about in the 7 mental models for success. That's the way you should be. Now your things that you're very good at, you need to be an expert in them. So like in the journal business, you need to be an expert in terms of journals, affirmations, goal setting, how that works, right, in order to sell such a product, right? Because if, or in the software business, in my industry, you need to be a consultant in that industry and understand it inside out. Because once you start using AI tools, like I say, any idiot can use ChatGPT. Once you start using AI tools, if you're not the domain expert in that field, you cannot check that it's correct. So the way to see it is this. Yes, it will do a lot. the future, instead of having an office full of people that you hire, right, and you're the manager of, let's say you're the senior in that industry, so take an industry, accountancy, right, you're the lead accountant and you have 10 junior accountants underneath you doing all the work, and all you're doing is checking, and now you're the expert. That's the old model. The new model will be you are still the lead accountant, but instead of having 10 humans, you've got 10 AI agents, or maybe 5 can do the job of 10, I don't know. But so when you're using AI, you've got to be the expert in that field. You've got to prompt it correctly. You know, how do you become a good prompt engineer? Well, loads. I was talking to Danny earlier about something he was telling me. I was telling him about the image generation, and he was saying advanced prompt engineering now, if you're doing image generation, would include discussing things like reference the type of camera. I'm going to use a Canon EOS, whatever. It's this location, this time of day. This is the date. It's sunny day. Talk about the aperture, shutter speed, even prompting these things to get the lighting correct, the more in depth. Now, what that tells me, the advanced prompt engineering, is you're putting yourself in the role of that expert as if it was done in real life, manually. Just like a professional photographer would do. They'd turn up with all that professional gear and set it up. So rather than just saying, create me an image like this, you need to really think about it like the professional photographer. You need to really think about it like if you're writing an article, you need to be the expert in that topic that you're talking about, and that's what it's about. All right, back to a bit of minimalist living. Right, so I got this a few months ago because it's retro. How is this minimalist living? But hear me out, right? You know, Casio watches, you can pick them up for nothing. But look at this one. It's absolutely brilliant. Look, still got the tag on it because I've not used it. But Casio calculator watch. I got it in like the green camo. You can get it. You can get. I wanted it in the gold. They do it in gold, but I got it in this green. It looks really cool. Picked it up from a shop in Hungary somewhere. They're not expensive, but look how cool that looks, right? Remember them, proper retro. Right, so here's the deal. I remember listening to a guy talk about one of these, and they're nothing, they're like so cheap, but he said, I'd always go about with like a Rolex on my arm thinking I was cool as fuck, right? Dead expensive, you know, 15 grand Rolex, wandering around, thinking we're dead cool. And there is something, because like people like Rob Moore talk about watches, because when you go into meetings and people see that, it's like but it's all nonsense really. And he said he used to go around with a Rolex, and then he bought one of these, right, and it's like 70 quid or whatever, or 50 quid. And he said, when I wore this, I got more attention than I've ever had off using the Rolex, you know, the big 15 grand Rolex. And he said people, like, when they see it, they just want to like play with calculator. Oh, can I have a go at calculator? And you get, so you think the value of that might work, you know, it might be worth getting one of these just so you can, they're only about 50 quid. I'll just pull it out again. So I found it, I forgot I had it, bought it, and then in Hungary and never used it, and I thought I'm going to start wearing that because it'll look pretty cool on your arm. Minimalist living. I mean, you could say minimalist, don't even bother with that, but I think the value of conversation will get you something. You'll get a good return for it. Rolex beats inflation. Yeah, they're brilliant, yeah. Bought mine in 2001 for 4, now it's worth 9, yeah. Rolex, yeah, exactly, Rolex, right. And it's like, Rob Moore says, like, all this idea that, like, having one, going into meetings and having one, and people, you don't have to flash it, but they notice it. It's like a trust signal in business. So you might earn a big contract off it or something like it. You could say it's bollocks, but because there are other trust signals, like if you were really successful and well known, you don't need a Rolex because people know. But yeah, generally, you know. But they do beat inflation, obviously, like things like gold and, you know, people say crypto. So there is that argument. But just having something like one of these as a gimmick. I mean, I got another one too, look at that. A G-Shock. You know, the big chunky G-Shock. It's quite cool. These are only 100 quid. I know they do the full digital ones now, but it's quite, it just looks like military, doesn't it? Look. Yeah, so I got one of them as well. Never wear them really. Might do occasionally go and wear this one, but I've never worn that one yet. And I thought, why did I buy it? I know it was like, probably got it for about 30 quid in Hungary. I think it could open some conversations, but you're absolutely right with Rolexes. I got absolutely fucking bollocks for looking at Rolexes in a shop. Sorry, I've got to stop swearing. I was looking at Rolexes and stopping in shops, and I got mithered and shouted at for it because, like, why do you need to have that? I was like, to me, it was just, I'm interested in the watch. I don't think that, you know, you should go and buy loads of Rolexes at all. I don't even have a Rolex myself, although I wouldn't mind one, but I was just interested in the way watches look. So I've got, you know, whatever. But yeah, minimalist living. You probably get away with a better conversation with a little, let's have another look. It looks so cool, doesn't it? Casio calculator watch for like 30 quid or whatever, yeah. Or no watch at all. Minimalist living. Do more with less. Use more AI tools. I'm going to do some more on SEO. All right. Thank you for listening to the live. Hope you like it. And yeah, go and sell more products with less. See you all next time.